After 3 studio albums, Dream Theater was faced with a bit of a crossroads. They needed a new keyboard player. Yeah, it doesn't seem like it'd be that large of a deal to many other bands. However, this is Dream Theater. This is a band that has certainly taken off, and at this point in time, after the release of Awake, had a wave of momentum on their side. So they needed to get somebody who was truly going to fit the bill, and fit the bill well. And they were able to do that. They were able to find that, and they were able to really find somebody who was extremely captivating in that regard with Derek Sheridan coming into the fold. But they also had a lot of things to do whenever it came to their next album. Their next album, Falling to Infinity, was not going to be released for a while. However, fans were clamoring for new material. And there was a song that they had been kicking around ever since the latter part of the 1980s, a song that they've been tweaking now for a number of years, a song called A Change of Seasons that would become their next release. Now what happened with this is that this song by itself could have easily been the whole entire EP. This 7-track song could have been the EP. It's all done in one track, but it's subdivided into 7 different parts. This track that eclipsed 20 minutes in length could have easily been this extended play, because that's what this is. But instead, they were able to add some covers that they did during a fan club only show, and they were able to expand this EP to time frames that really should only be on LPs. In fact, this EP in length was longer than their first 2 albums. It's pretty impressive. And nearly an hour long. I can't think of an EP that is shorter, or that is longer in length. And if you guys in the Cover Killer Nation were to happen to know one, please, by all means, tell me. 1-track albums aren't going to count like Green Carnation's Light of Day, Day of Darkness, or, you know, Sunbather or something like that. Not Sunbather, but you know what I'm talking about. 1-track albums that are meant to be 1-track, that was the intent. 1 super long song, that's an LP. An EP, it's what it's got to be termed. So what else do we have on here? And is A Change of Seasons really that good to really warrant being released as its own EP? And absolutely it is. For most Dream Theater fans, A Change of Seasons is right there in perhaps many, if not all, of their top 10 lists. This is a massive song. This is one that deals with the death of one of the members' mothers, the slowness of the incoming death, and really, it is just a beautiful, beautiful tribute to life, but at the same time, it is certainly one that really explores all of the dynamics that are involved. This is a lush, lavish track that is able to really incorporate all the best elements of Dream Theater's sound. And this is something that they had not really done before whenever it came to something that they've released on a studio album. Now sure, Metropolis Part 1 would eventually manifest itself into Metropolis 2, Scenes from a Memory. But that album wasn't for another couple of years. This is something that was, you know, merely in conceptual stages at this point, if it was even that far. A Change of Seasons, being over 20 minutes in length and really encapsulating so many parts, practically a concept album within its own 1-track song. Wow. This multiple movements would be something that we would later see in Dream Theater projects such as Transatlantic, that involve some members of the band. This is definitely a song that is worth the price by itself. But we have other things to talk about. We have covers to talk about. Covers of Elton John, covers of Deep Purple, a Led Zeppelin medley, and a huge, huge, super huge medley that includes bands such as the Dixie Dregs, Genesis, Kansas, Journey, Pink Floyd, Queen. Wow! So many different things to talk about. Now what about Funeral for a Friend, Love Lies Bleeding? This is a pair of songs from Elton John. It was written by Bernie Taupin, obviously, and Dream Theater does it a lot of justice. Considering they are a band that is not afraid to have their sound really be keyboard-based and then just kind of mold itself around it. These are all world-class musicians here, ladies and gentlemen. Derek really got his first chance to shine almost immediately, and he's able to do so on this these 2 classics, and it was definitely one that is very, very good. It resonates extremely well. And here's the thing, even though these were all done live, it definitely still has a studio feel because these guys had exceptional mixers whenever it came to their live sound. Not to mention, everything was really just tweaked exactly perfectly because they knew that these were all going to be recorded, not to mention also placed onto this EP for everybody to listen to. So, unlike some live albums where it definitely sounds very muddy, it sounds very poor, the only thing where the quality can sometimes seem a little bit underwhelming would be if James LeBray himself had a couple of off notes here or there. Everything seemed mic'd correctly, everything feels very strong, and everything sounds very, very good. Whenever you get the Perfect Strangers, the Deep Purple cover, you immediately get throwbacks to the 1970s. You get throwbacks to people such as Ritchie Blackmore, and for me at least, I get throwbacks to Ronnie James Dio simply because Blackmore eventually would team up with Ronnie James Dio in the band Rainbow. And I think about the 1970s, and I think about how all of these, how this song and Deep Purple in general just influenced metal so very much, and to have a band like Dream Theater cover it and do so with such precision and accuracy, and do it very, very well, give it adequate justice, just really is a testimony to all of the people that have gone before them, that have paved the way, essentially, for songs like this, for songs like A Change of Seasons and the rest of their discography. This nod, really, to that old school and really being unbiased in who they cover, is very, very cool. Considering with the later songs here, you're going to see a lot of throwbacks to some old progressive bands, but Deep Purple, on the other hand, is a little bit more of that hard rock, heavy metal sound, and really it's just a tribute to, what came before them. And really, whenever you think about Elton John, you don't think about metal all that much, but you add a little bit of metal to it, and that song really, really just builds itself. It was awesome on its own. It really was. But you add a little bit of metal. Damn. Then you get to the Led Zeppelin medley. The Rover, Achilles' Last Stand, and the song remains the same. First off, Achilles' Last Stand is one of my favorite Led Zeppelin songs of all time. I absolutely adore that track. I think it's just an awesome, awesome piece of musical storytelling by one of the best bands that has ever roamed the planet. And definitely one of the best guitar players, Jimmy Page, that ever walked the earth. And just to hear Dream Theater do that, and not to mention do it justice, to have it be a real big bulk, is just really, really cool. It's almost like the centerpiece of this medley, and I really, really enjoy that fact. But whenever you get to the big medley, whenever you get to the main event, that's whenever you have to actually take off the glasses and read everybody who's on there. You have In the Flesh by Pink Floyd, you have Carry On Wayward Son by Kansas, Bohemian Rhapsody by Queen, you have Love and Touch and Squeezin' by Journey, you have Cruise Control by the Dixie Dregs, which is an instrumental cover because they were primarily an instrumental band, and then you have Turn It On Again, which is, of course, made famous by Genesis. Each and every one of these songs, every one of these 6 songs gets its own proper shine. It gets its own moments. And these have been crafted expertly together by these guys in order to give this crowd really a touch of the past. It really showcases what Dream Theater is able to do. Songwriters and, musicians that are really just kind of privy for one thing really don't know how to compose very excellent medleys. Because medleys are sometimes like a gigantic puzzle that you have to put together, and it's very difficult to get it right. But Dream Theater with this one, they got it right. Everything about this EP really is right. As far as EPs go, it definitely ranks among the top 5 that I've listened to all time. It's hard for anything really to beat Jar of Flies by Alice in Chains, but that might be a little bit of my personality seeping in. If you find A Change of Seasons somewhere, perhaps used or perhaps at a yard sale for $2 or $3, it is an insult to your taste as a metal fan and really as a musically minded individual not to get it. The song A Change of Seasons itself makes it worth admission, like I said, and that should really cover the price regardless of what it is. However, with the addition of these covers that are all very, very well done, not to mention showcase a very, very fine piece of musicianship really with each and every song, there is no part of you that can really go wrong with this. Even though this is 60 minutes in length, this is almost like an hour-long cruise into musical history, kind of going, from the current to the past, going in reverse. Hearing what the Dream Theater machine can do, and then hearing how they're able to interpret what those before them have been able to do. It sounds pretentious to some. It sounds as though they are showcasing their superiority. But it's not that at all. It's showcasing something much more important. It's showcasing respect. Falling into Infinity is looming. That'll be next.